Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. We're presented by Yes Realty Partners. Judah Wickhauer's our director. Johnny Ornalis, thank you for sharing the show.
Johnny.
Folks in Richmond, Waynesboro, the Shenandoah Valley, across Central Virginia, and the Commonwealth watching here. Perhaps because of our guests. I'm very excited for today's show. Judah Wickhauer, let's first go to the studio camera. Let's welcome Keith Smith to the program. Our executive producer, Keith. ¿Qué pasa, chico?
¿Qué pasa, amigo? And at least I butchered the Spanish language, I wanted to give a shout out to Johnny. He helped me take a look at something that was auto-translated into Spanish, and it looked like it went well. So thank you, Johnny, for that. So before we start chatting about the other side of the market, I just kind of wanted to give a little shout out to Dairy Market and give a little bit of an experience that we had there last night. So Yona and I were working late, 8-ish, something like this. Mm-hmm. And, okay, what are we going to do for dinner? What are we going to do for dinner? And I realized that Dairy Market has this takeout ability now, which is really super cool. So if you get on their website and you hit the takeout button, so you can pick like Angelique or Chim's or Dino's or Take It Away or Springhouse, and you order it. You pay for it, you add a tip on it, you pull up in front of it, and you sit there. They ask you what car you're in, and they bring your food out to you.
Can't beat that.
It was freaking awesome. We split the order up because I'm sure you're going to ask me, what did I get? I obviously am in love with Angelique's recipe, so any opportunity to get some of her great food.
So what'd you get from her?
Oh, I always go with the fried fish.
Yeah.
The whole.
Good?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How about Yona?
She did Chim's because she did some dumplings and, I'll butcher it if I say it, but for lack of a better term, it was like a shish kebab kind of porky thing. But it was great, but I loved it, man. You ordered it, you pulled up, they met you at your car, everybody was super COVID safe. Got your food. We were home in 10 or 15 minutes and sat down and had a glass of wine and ate some great food. So,
and that's not even, let's wait till like the apartments get finished and the offices get in there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to just be this like epicenter of activity.
Yeah.
Especially as we're getting out of COVID and vaccines are getting out there and tests is getting done and consumer confidence is rising. I can't wait to see Dairy Market and Dairy
So if
Central.
anybody's watching from Dairy Market, the thing that you need to add on there is Moo-Through, because I wanted ice cream desperately, and
Moo-Through's good.
Could have licked an ice cream on the way home, but I wanted to give him a shout out. It was seamless. It literally took all of a few minutes to do and get the food, so it was really, really good. Get out there and give him a shot, guys. So today, Waynesboro.
Yeah, popular area.
We've been talking about
the talk of a year and a half.
And a bit of a spin-off from what Realtor magazine popped out a month ago, I think it was, that Waynesboro was number 3 in the country for retirees to come to. So I crunched a bunch of numbers, did a bunch of dissecting of them this morning. But what I really wanted to do today was bring in two folks that were in the real estate space and were born and raised there. And off camera to our right, in a respectful 8-foot-plus distance from all of us, is a gentleman by the name of Michael Plecker. And I'll let you do the introduction.
Yeah, Michael Plecker in the house. Thank you kind enough for joining us here at the I Love CVille show, the I Love CVille Network and Real Talk. Michael Plecker, we were talking off air, born in Waynesboro. Is that right?
Technically speaking, I wasn't born in a hospital in Waynesboro, Virginia, no.
Oh.
No, it was a hot summer's day in July in Cremore, Virginia, which is about 6 miles north of Waynesboro. Mom was canning huckleberries.
Huh.
And Dad was up on the side of the mountain, picking those where a forest fire had previously gone through about 3 years before. And I found my way out before I got to the hospital. So technically born in Cremore, Virginia.
Okay, Cremore, Virginia. So let's say you know the Shenandoah Valley fairly well.
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay. Grew up playing baseball there. Played some minor league ball.
Played some minor league ball. That so long ago doesn't count anymore.
Moved back in 2005.
Moved back to Charlottesville from Northern Virginia in 2005.
In 2005. So this guy knows Pantops and the Keswick area, along with Waynesboro and the Shenandoah Valley, inside and out. Why don't we start open-ended? Let's start with Shenandoah Valley and Waynesboro. Michael, it has been the toast and the talk of town. I mean, I'm seeing friends of mine sprinting to the other side of the mountain for more square feet, more land, more value. Anywhere you want to go on this topic?
That's always an alternative I throw out when I'm working with buyers, especially if they're from out of the area. They come in, they have certain ideas about the size house they want, price range. And if they're tolerant, if they don't mind living 30 minutes from town, 35 minutes from town, I always introduce the idea to Waynesboro to them. And it seems like I've had really good success with buyers in the past over there where you could take them over the mountain for the same type of home and you're $50,000 less with a much larger lot. So it's been a good place for me to show folks, and I've watched a transition happen in the area over the years from factories and farms to a more diversified community with the retirees that are moving in, younger folks that are able to work from home, which has become a huge trend lately. So it's a beautiful area. I'd like to think that's one of the reasons why people are choosing it, but it really comes down to the value.
So that was kind of the where I wanted to go with the question, because I've been asked this many a times. Why did Waynesboro, and when we say Waynesboro, it's Waynesboro in Augusta County, jumped up to number 3 in the country? I think second is Charlottesville area, and number 1 is Orlando. And I couldn't think of a better. I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit in your answer, but why is that? Why has that happened? I realize price is one thing, but it has to be much more than price. And what else do you think it is?
Well, I think it's also access to the interstates, north, south, 81, east, west, 64. I guess it's like the old rail towns back in the days, that most of the towns built up around the rails when those were put in. But the folks that I would really like to ask a question to are the ones that did they foresee, because of all the new commercial development that took place there off the exit in Waynesboro, where you have the Kohl's, the Target,
Sure.
You have numerous restaurants, and when I was growing up, that was all farms. So I don't know if they foresaw what was coming and had some insight into that, or if they built it and everybody else came.
Yeah, generally, firms like Target and Chick-fil-A and all these folks, they do their homework long before they come in to do that. I was, why thinking of it, and of course, since I'm the elder person on set at the moment, Augusta Health really ramped up its operations over the last 4 or 5 years. Is that not correct? And I think people of my age, that kind of is super important to them.
It's an interesting fact that Augusta Health is still, I think, the last independently owned hospital.
I did not know that.
In the state. Everything else has gone to the huge health systems.
Know that.
And Augusta Health, Augusta Medical, is the last independently owned one. And they used to have their facility in what we call the Tree Streets in Waynesboro, Virginia. Used to go visit people there. But when they moved out and built the new facility, it really sort of centralized the health care in the county. Augusta County is the second largest, geographically speaking, county in the state of Virginia. So it covers a wide area. And I think centralizing that, and along with the other growth that's taken place, it's made it attractive over there. And again, it's the dirt. The dirt costs less, and therefore houses cost less.
So sales price is an issue. Really good health care system, easy transportation, so I can get up to go see my grandchildren and come back, jump on 81 and come back 81 or go further south. What about activities, things to do in restaurants?
Agritourism is really a growing field over there. I mean, there's Saddlebrook breweries, there's Arrowhead, there's farm events that take place.
Have you been to Basic City?
Basic City?
Yeah.
Yeah, Basic City.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been there many times.
Another person I graduated with owns the gas station right across the street. So
really? Cool.
I always tell my wife I'm going to stop in when I head over the mountain to get some gas, and she knows that I'm going to Basic City. So
it's interesting. That area was, and educate me here, that area where around Basic City, 10, 15 years ago was super sketchy. Now you kind of go to this area, it's just nothing but families everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
No, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I mean, back in the day,
There's like a lot of methamphetamines and stuff, right? Is that fair?
well, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a scourge that has affected a lot of the rural communities like that, especially blue collar areas.
But it's changing.
It is. It's just, another place that really went through a renaissance that I saw change the entire scope of the town was in Stanton.
I was just going to ask about that.
The Stonewall Jackson, I think, was the first commercial project that really they put some time and effort and money into, along with the Blackfriar Theater,
Sure.
and that sort of put Stanton on the map, so to speak, or to give it a little bit of a renaissance. And now the whole wharf area in Stanton and the downtown area is full of boutique shops and restaurants and things like that to do. And then from there, the word gets out. And I've had a couple clients that bought in Stanton. They only wanted to live in Stanton, Virginia, within walking distance of either the Gypsy Hill Park or the downtown area where the shops and restaurants are located. So
I tell you, if whoever's watching or listening today, if you have not been to Stanton or Staunton,
I love Stanton.
How do we say that?
it's Stanton.
Stanton?
Okay? It's
Stanton?
Stanton, Virginia. Yeah.
It's charming. It's intimate. You can bar hop, restaurant hop. I mean, it's fun.
And from a residential perspective, 81 is like
It's right there.
right
Yeah.
there.
Let me throw this to you guys here, and a lot of folks watching over here. You got Nakil Womack giving you some props over here. You got a lot of folks watching in Waynesboro. Let's cut to the chase. We're talking Waynesboro here, and Waynesboro's watching here.
Glad to have them. Glad to have them.
I see a lot of little giants on the stream right here.
Oh, Waynesboro, that was our arch rivals. No, I was a Wilson Hornet. So.
Okay, the little giants were Waynesboro's arch rivals.
We were the farmers, and they were the city guys. So that's that rivalry lives on in me. So that's.
Is this a fair statement, Michael? As long as we have limited inventory in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, and it continues to be a coveted place to be, and we know it will be, that's just going to be tailwinds and good news for Waynesboro and the Valley.
It has already, I think, pushed the perimeter
Interest.
out quite a bit. Yeah, the interest out quite a bit, but you're starting to run into competition over there as well. The other day, I was meeting someone that had to follow me to a location, to a house over there. I was going to go show them, and I sat there at Afton Mountain, right off of 254, or 250 rather, and just watching the commuter traffic come from the Charlottesville area headed over there. I mean, it was actually hard to pull out into the intersection just watching the stream of cars come over. But with all good comes maybe a little bad, and the competition's gone up on listings over there as well.
I mean, look at Crozet.
Well,
Speak to that.
Absolutely, but I actually was going to pivot a little bit, and this is something you and I have been talking about for some time on the other side of the mountain. I was taking a little bit more of a let's say a counterpoint to your point, because I was concerned about if gas starts getting up to the $3 or $4 a gallon, God forbid, kind of range, and you stopped me in my tracks and really changed my thinking. So much so, my wife and I are looking at getting one. Is the growth of the electric car, right? You can buy like a Chevy Bolt now for like $30,000, and it's.
And more are coming out, which is going to deflate the price. As supply hits the market, the price is going to go down.
Absolutely.
So that gap, that increased in wear and tear on the vehicle and gas, that's not going to be as big a deal. And then throw in the fact the internet piece.
And my eye was on the new Hummer.
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith said, nah, I don't think so.
She's a keeper.
She's a keeper.
She's a keeper.
I got a little expensive
Yeah.
taste.
You have champagne taste.
Champagne taste.
Yeah, you were mentioning that at some point, how it seems like when there is a downturn, which all markets have downturns, otherwise there would be no
Sure.
upswing, that things in the valley tend to shut down quicker and tighter from a purchasing standpoint than somewhere like Charlottesville, with many more people, more diversified as far as business, where incomes come from. Because not that long ago, it's still sort of a farm and factory area, a little more conservative. And when the gas prices go up, it affected them a little more. So.
Well, he's completely changed my thinking on that.
The electric car, technology.
Well, think about the millennial, okay? This is what the millennial's going to do.
Oh, yeah,
here.
absolutely.
The millennial's going to go, oh my gosh, it's a $675,000 home on Nowell Street in Fifeville on .14 for 2,500 square feet. Oh my gosh, There's a $300,000 home in Waynesboro.
Try 250,000 is the medium sales price.
Well, on acreage, that's 4,000 square feet, and I can work from home via the internet, and I can take my electric vehicle and still drive to Charlottesville.
Or go to, how do I say it? Stanton.
Stanton.
Why wouldn't they do? Why wouldn't they?
You changed my thinking on that.
Especially with the value proposition of Charlottesville being somewhat shuttered because of COVID. It's not like we can go hit the downtown mall and go to these concerts and these venues. So the drive isn't as appealing.
Well, there's one more thing that I think that's really, and I believe it's coming. Some areas over there, pockets have it, but if the access to broadband really pushes out into more of the rural areas of Augusta County outside of Waynesboro and Stanton, I think it makes it even more attractive for the demographic of buyer age-wise,
that's millennial
which is
and
wanting
younger.
to work from home.
Yeah.
I think the lockdown and the COVID has put people in their homes, and I think it's changed the mindset a little bit to where they want space. And it's not me. It's not my, what I believe about that. It's what they're telling me when they come down here is they want space. They want either a place to get away for the weekend or they want space for their families so the kids can go out and play. But they follow that up as, how's the broadband?
So I can add a little bit to that conversation.
Your colleague Christopher Eagle giving you props right now.
Whoa. Happy birthday, Christopher.
Oh, it's Christopher Eagle's birthday.
His birthday today.
Chris Eagle's birthday.
Happy birthday, Christopher
I think he's
Eagle.
all like of 19 or something like that.
Oh, man. That man's seasoned and experienced.
He's seasoned and
And
experienced.
talented.
But, next to 60-something, or almost 60, he's on. But let me get
Aaron King giving Michael Plecker some props over
there you
here.
go. Again, this conversation was so important because it's been ongoing, and COVID has really changed the thinking of everybody. This whole electric car conversation, this broadband conversation. But I can share the reason I know it's going in the right direction when the government bodies on the other side of the mountain are starting to talk to this regional housing partnership about coming together, because we are coming together as a market, and one of the things that we focus on is a broadband authority on trying to grow broadband in the region, and those conversations are happening to try to kind of bring them in. All this was just pointing everything in the right direction to have this conversation with folks that seen it go from this to that. So just wanted to share that with you.
I like it. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm a sharer.
I appreciate you sharing that. Michael Plecker, your thoughts on Q2, Q3, Q4, and the rest of 2021? How's the market going to shake out?
I don't see an end in sight at this point. There is expendable cash. I think, I forget the exact stats that they put out on this, but the expendable cash and what people are saving and not spending at this moment, I think when the market breaks loose, it's just going to be a flood of buyers.
I agree. Here's a crazy statistic. Coming out of COVID, Americans have more savings
That's exactly
than
right.
ever, have less credit card debt than ever, and have more pent-up demand to spend their money than ever.
And what's the third thing that they have? If
Buying power.
If they're selling, they have more equity.
Yeah.
I think the average gain across the country in 2020 was $17,000.
And they have more purchasing power than ever.
That's because
the speculation is this is going to be a roaring 20s type of environment.
yeah, that scares me because what
Well, the
happened
roaring
at the
20s
end,
is a good economy.
except at the very end
Yeah,
of it.
then bad news at the end of the roaring 20s.
Yeah.
29 wasn't such a good year.
Except at the end.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that 29 thing.
That's always been the challenge, though. With
Yeah.
housing markets, you get the booms, and then
Yeah, but this is, you've probably been in this game as long as I have. I've been in it for 35 years. I don't think I've ever seen this, and we talk about this all the time, where usually it's like weighted one way or the other. Like it's really only a seller's market and it's only a buyer's market. This, because of the interest rates and because of the equity building up on the seller side, it's kind of like both a buyer's and a seller's market. I don't know if you're experiencing that in your...
Do you agree with that? How would you characterize this market?
Great question.
So when I started in 94, interest rates were 9.5%. And I was working for a builder. And there were all sorts of programs, 5-1 arms, 2-1 buy downs, 80-10, 10s,
Sure.
723s, anything to get the rate down. Then, as Keith mentioned, right now, because of the lockdowns, because of people with equity, and the historically, and I'm afraid people have become complacent with these interest rates. If you track these from when they first started tracking them in 72, 73, I have a sheet that'll show daily prime rates all the way through. Historically speaking, 7.25%, 7.5% is what it normally was, and that was a decent rate. But I think people have become complacent and expect these kind of rates now, and they've been ticking up over the last few days with the bond yields and everything else.
I've had that conversation with about a half a dozen loan officers in the last couple of days. That
Rates are going up.
not so much that it's not the complacency. It's the new normal. Everybody now assumes sub 3 is the new norm, and it's not. It's a 6, 4, somewhere in that particular range. I got you beat. My first house, I was 18% when I bought in 88 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say 80s. Yeah.
But I think we're starting to see inventory loosen up a little bit, but it's anemic what it's loosening up versus the demand, and you're starting to see some more of these coming soons and stuff like that. But I just wanted to throw some stats at you that I pulled this morning on Waynesboro, and see if you can react to them for me. So currently, right now, active, there's 64. So this is homes, single family attached, single family detached, no new construction. I tend to take them out because they skew the numbers. There's pending 163.
In Waynesboro?
So I think if I did my math right, that's 2.5 units absorption rate. So they're coming off the market.
How many are active?
64.
And pending?
163. I think that math is 2.5.
What do you think of that, Michael Plecker?
Call me. I'd love to live around Waynesboro. Sorry, Jody.
Call me.
Text me. Send smoke signals. I'm coming.
Ray Cadell says 19% interest rate on my first house, 20% down on my first house, $53,200 price on my first house.
So I didn't put a slide out. Thank you, Ray, for doing this. I was going to bring it, but I forgot to do it.
Candace Vanderlyn also giving everyone props and saying she's loving the commentary. Christopher Eagle says he's a seasoned 28 years old. Today's Christopher Eagle's birthday.
There you go, brother.
He's seasoned 28 years old. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a fabulous real estate career. Look at this distinguished gentleman as a mentor over here.
Oh, and he's up to my game of having to dress up a little bit.
Oh, Christopher Eagle's a sharp dresser.
Oh, man. So
that's part of the Yes Realty Partners join the team. You get a little allotment, huh?
No,
apparently not. Apparently not.
Not in the Shenandoah Valley.
Somebody didn't get the memo. I'm just saying.
You look sharp. Don't knock the man.
Whatever.
Don't throw shade at my boy Plecker.
You should share the picture when you were catching for the Mets. That actually is a pretty cool thing.
He's a minor league baseball player, Michael Plecker.
I had the privilege of playing 2 seasons.
That's still, you play pro ball.
Look, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I've got friends all over the Caribbean and Mexico and places like that I played ball with. Played with a couple of good guys that went up to the show. So it was a great experience.
Well, unbeknownst to all this, I'm a lifelong Mets fan. Because I grew up like watching Willie Mays play, and when it was.
So I started with Greg Jeffries in Kingsport, Tennessee. That was I started with him 2 years later. He's up to bat in the World Series.
There you go. Let's go back to Ray's comment. It's a bit of a misnomer these days that you need 20% down. I think, if I remember the stats correctly, according to NAR's 2020 numbers, the first-time home buyer, the average was somewhere around 7%. I think the move-up buyer was around 12%, and I think the maximum was around 15 to 16% on it. Very few. I don't know how many transactions you see this. I very rarely see a 20% down. Somebody putting 20% down because, look, at the end of the day, at sub 3, it's free money. Why would you put cash up?
Oh, we could talk PMI though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a reason to put 20% down.
I have that conversation with people too.
Yeah,
like if your income is X and your mortgage payment is Y down here, why would you why would you put down 20% when it's earning more where it's at?
Well, because of the PMI.
Even with the PMI, it doesn't make sense. I'll map it out for you one day. It doesn't make sense.
You know where it does make sense? This happened to my buddy the other day. He did not put 20% down. And then when he got to 20% in equity, he was still paying the PMI.
Well, that's because
and then he went to the bank. It says, dude, it says it right here.
Yeah.
You have to notify us. We're going to keep charging you.
That's exactly
And
right.
he went, I think it was 3 or 4 months, and they would not give it back to him.
Yeah, it's a fight, but you can do it. Just a little get off track from Waynesboro a little bit. This is something we always coach because we do it ourselves. We pay between 1 to 2 extra full payments, and that drops you 30-year down to anywhere 15 or 18, depending on how many you do it, and it eats up that. You eat up that
front end interest a little more.
Oh, a lot faster.
Yeah,
a lot faster.
Absolutely. Michael Plecker, what did you make of the? And you know what? Doing this here, I got an idea that came to me, and I'm going to share how the network and the set's going to be better. Judah's a little resistant to change, so he's going to be like,
oh really? Hold it, time out. Just Judah?
Yeah, he's going to be resistant to change. But really what should happen is this should be a triumphant. This right here where the director is, he's blocked by the computer, and he can't see us because the computer's there. That should be on the side, and then he'd have an angle to see, and then the hot seat should be here, and then we're just looking like this triangle. That's how we're going to do it moving forward.
Or maybe we can fight a fourth one in over.
Oh, I've thought about that as well. Michael Plecker, what'd you make of that? What'd you make of that $675,000 listing on Knoll Street in the city of Charlottesville? I know you saw it. What'd you make of that?
Based on what else is on the market and what is sold and pending, if you look through the pictures and the descriptions of the home, you'd have to say that house is worth it. It's a newer home. It's updated. It is what most of what people are looking for. They want to live in a city. So I always talk to people, the market is what the historic perspective says it is.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
That listing is pending.
I know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that on, what's today? Tuesday, Friday.
We knew.
Pending.
You said immediately.
Yeah.
And you said, and we should give her props, you said, was it Karen?
Yep, Karen's a pro.
Yeah, and you said you said that.
Absolute pro.
You said, in your exact words, she wouldn't have priced it for that if it wouldn't have sold for somewhere near it. And it's pending.
And she would not have put it on the market if she did not do her homework. She's a pro. Mm-hmm. Absolute pro.
You called
great to work with.
You called it.
I did.
So you're not surprised by that?
No, wasn't surprised. I'm surprised it took so long, to be honest with you.
It's crazy market keeps.
Back on numbers for the other side of the mountain.
Please.
Sold year to date from the beginning of January 1 until today, 129 units sold. You want to take a stab at days on market? Medium days on market? Don't put your glasses on.
Tell us.
8.
8, yeah.
Sale price $250 median.
How much is the retirees? So here's the statistic for everyone who's watching. A Realtor magazine had this article. I'll throw it to Michael Plecker, a native of the area. Waynesboro metropolitan area, the 3rd most popular metropolitan area in America for retirees to move to. How much does that have to do with they're priced out potentially of the Charlottesville market, and then the Waynesboro market is adjacent, close enough, you have the internet, you have electric vehicles, et cetera, et cetera?
Mm-hmm. Most of the folks that are coming down are cash buyers. They're coming from the Northeast corridor, Connecticut, New Jersey, upper New York, some from the city, and they have expendable cash. And based on a couple of the customers that I've had, they wanted to spend X and have this much left over as a padding. And it was, I'd ask them if they considered other areas, but they said, no, we like Waynesboro. And
so,
yeah.
That units, that average, the median, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1,850 square feet, 8 days on market, $250. I didn't look at the size of the property, but more than likely it's a quarter acre or something like that on medium size on it. So it's where the thing, and like I said, I gave you a shout out a couple times during the show. I never really gave it a strong consideration to the electric car thing, but.
And the only reason I brought that up is because I'm seeing all my friends do it.
Yeah, I mean that's why this works so well.
Yeah.
You know, you bring in your perspective, I bring in my perspective on it. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, and at the end of the day,
I got friends who are proud digital nomads that now are like, I'm proud to not have to like leave my my home, my office here, that I can do everything from here. It's crazy. The mindset's changing. Social behavior is legit. Human behavior is legit changing, Keith, because of this COVID thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this all the time, and maybe this is a great question for Michael, and I think you kind of answered already. God willing, middle of the summer, fall, shots have worked. We're kind of got a little bit back to normal, whatever that might be now. What is the new normal? Is that some sort of hybrid where people are working a little bit in the office, a little bit at home? Or, I mean, what does that mean to you?
Well, only time looking back can tell you what was normal and what was not.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I think there is going to be more of a focus on family. And the other thing too that I have found is all these little roadside attractions, and like the Route 66 or the Route 11s in Stanton, with all local little attractions and stores are picking up business, from what I understand, because people are not traveling internationally as much. So they want to go out, and that's something else that the Valley has to offer, is that sort of thing. So,
well, you and I think a lot alike, because we talked about this. If I am going to go to the hardware store, I'm probably going to go to a local hardware store than
Martin's.
a larger Martin's or something like this, or out at the lake. The
but
lake.
the mindset has changed.
The ACE.
Yeah, thank you, Ace. Yeah. Ace out there. I tend to always support local. The same thing. Why, if I'm buying coffee, I'll do MarieBette or the locals instead of Starbucks. It's just I always try to promote the local end of it. When we bring Joy in, I'm probably Jody, excuse me, thank you. Bring Jody in. I actually ran sales numbers from 16 to 20 up, so we'll probably chat a little bit about her, look at the trends, but it was pretty interesting. Just a quick jump from 16 to 20. In 16, there was 1,050 units sold, 55 days on market. Median sales price was 180. In 20, 1121 units sold, 9 days on market, 235. So it even jumped from 20 to the first quarter, the first 45, 50 days from 235 to 250. That's just in 1 month.
Well, these people are getting market equity, and they're getting mortgage equity from paying
Sure.
into the mortgage. So that it's moving in this direction with the interest rates the way they are. So it's there's money out there that people want to spend. We just need more. We need more listings across the board.
Amen to that. So before we ask Michael to start his day and sell some property for YRP.
Yes, Royalty Partners.
Yes, thank you. Any questions on the feed specifically?
Absolutely. We do have some questions on the feed here. Michael, here's a good question from actually one of my buddies here. Your take on the tree streets. That's where everybody's moving. That's in our age gap.
There is, I think if there's names around town that you recognize in Charlottesville, like Café Capital, and these folks that go in and buy and renovate houses. It's the same thing in the Valley. Actually, in the renovations from a builder standpoint in the Valley, they like the renovations better than building from new now. But the tree streets is one that's getting a lot of focus. It's a gorgeous area. It's got some topography to it, older historic homes, smaller homes, within walking distance of the downtown area, the library. So there's some capital being infused into that with home purchases and renovations. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
So did I hear that right? You're saying that there's more renovation than new construction going on the other side of the mountain?
I didn't say that. I said the builders are starting to prefer renovations versus new construction. I have a personal friend that was a builder, built several hundred homes there.
Why do you think that is? Is it just less red tape? That's why?
Well,
less red tape, less time, less money up front to get a property ready.
And better margin.
Better
with the
margin.
remodel.
Well, that's exactly right. So your acquisition number on that side of the mountain is less than here. So if you're going to acquire the same kind of 1,900 square foot home in Belmont, it's not going to cost $250,000 or $150,000 or $200,000. It's going to cost double, if not more than that. But that's interesting you said that, because I did run some stats on new construction, and it's interesting. So in 16, there were 60 units built on the other side of the mountain, and the median sales price was $244. Keep in mind the resale was $180. So in 2020 there was 130 built, and the median sales price was $290 versus $235.
Mm-hmm.
So I just they're a little closer. New construction versus resale numbers than on this side of the mountain, right on this side of the mountain.
Well, Neil Williamson said it best. Regulation hurdles are way higher on this side of the mountain than on that side.
Did he just say that?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Well, Jody can speak directly to that because
Let's get Jody on the line.
Her husband is a builder, and he is.
So we're going to
really
keep.
into the
We're going to keep.
renovations.
Can we keep Michael in when we get Jody on?
We can. Michael, why don't I give you?
I'd like to reunite. That's class of '83.
There you
Jody
go.
and I.
Give him that. No. Give him those headsets so he can plug in.
What was he going to plug into?
Yeah, he can plug it to his phone. Jody, we got you on the line here. If we can get you to turn your camera on, just tap that screen and click activate. Excited to chat with you. We've been having a really good conversation here about Shenandoah Valley and Waynesboro. All right, Jody, we got you. You look fantastic. Before we talk shop, how about introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Okay, my name is Jody Sipe. I have been a realtor in the Shenandoah Valley for going on 30 years. It's a long time. Lived here since I was 2. Have 4 kids and 7 grandbabies. So just living the dream.
All right, let's jump straight into it.
Did I hear 7 grandbabies?
7 grandbabies.
You got me
Yes,
beat.
I do.
Yeah, well, you only have 2.
I only got 2. I got to tell my kids to get
You
moving.
better
She's got
catch
7.
up.
She better catch up. That's right. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Keith here in a matter of moments. Our friend Michael Plecker is also watching on Facebook. That's about a 10-second delay on what you're watching there. But Jody, why don't I throw this to you? Waynesboro, the Shenandoah Valley, is red hot. We were talking about the statistic from Realtor magazine, I think in last month's issue, that the Waynesboro metropolitan area, the 3rd most popular metropolitan area for retirees to move to in the entire country. And my friends, millennials and younger, are moving to Waynesboro in the Shenandoah Valley in droves. So why don't we start open-ended? Give us a snapshot into what you're seeing in the market on that side of the mountain.
Okay, well, I've seen a lot of changes on this side of the mountain, obviously. Hey, Keith.
Hey.
Lived here since I was 2, so I've been here literally since there were no stoplights in our town. So, as a realtor, I see all kinds of reasons why people are requesting to live in the valley. Low crime, low taxes, low housing prices, low traffic. It's very easy to get around here. And surprisingly, a lot of times I hear that this is halfway for them, that some of their kids live in the north and some of their kids live in the south, and we got that I-64, I-81 juncture right in our backyard. So it's easy to navigate. A lot of them are tired of paying $9,000, $10,000 worth of taxes a year. But in general, it's just a really nice lifestyle here. It's a good mix of conveniences and aesthetics.
So Jody, thank you for saying that half comment, because I've heard this about a few weeks ago for the first time. They're calling them halfbacks, right?
Yeah, that's
so
exactly
they
right.
went from New York to Florida, decided they didn't like Florida, and they came halfway back, and it seems like they're landing in this region as a halfback because they can either fly, because that's something we didn't talk about with Michael, but what's the name of your airport out there? Blue?
Oh, the Weir's Cave Airport?
I believe so. I flew in and out of it before. I can't remember the name of the
I
airport.
don't know the name exactly either, but they've added, Shenandoah Valley has added a lot of flights out of there that they didn't have previously. But it's just as easy to drive to Roanoke or Richmond. Those are some pretty reasonable flights, and it's an hour and a half drive either way. So, no big deal.
So we were I don't know if you had the opportunity to listen to the show where we were chatting with Michael over there. Just before we start getting into it, how was he like when he was a kid? Was he
Oh,
real?
come on, let's talk real estate.
talk
No
real
one cares
estate.
about
Oh,
that.
let me
Let's
tell
talk
you
real-
something. He and I in high school got the Class Brown Noser Award back in a
I can see that.
non-politically correct world where you could have such things. But I think that might be a real estate agent trait.
Yeah, we'll move on. My partner in
Yeah.
crime here is asking me
Yeah,
to.
no one cares.
I care, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Here
you're
we
the
go.
only one.
I'm the only one that cares, but anyway. So look, we were. I just want to go over some particular quick numbers. I ran some numbers early this morning about what was just looking at sold over the last from 16 until now, and I think Judah's going to be bouncing some of these slides through it, but. Basically, in 2016, we went from 1,050 roughly units with 55 days on market and 180,000. And in 2020, we jumped all the way up to 1,121. 9 days dropped all the way down from 55 to 9, but the price shot up to 235. That's a
Great
huge
start.
jump from 180 to 235 over that many years. Can you, from a local real estate perspective, can you talk about that transformation and what that looked like for you guys?
It's been very difficult to keep up, I can tell you that, as far as market analysis and doing the right thing for your sellers. And, our market's changed tremendously. It continues to change tremendously. We, in my opinion, have just a shortage of product. I was thinking about this prior to coming on here, a lot of are happy in their homes, so they're not listing. But that's basically what's driving the prices up. We just don't have anything to sell.
So that's really why I was most excited about bringing you on, because based on our conversation we had prior to the show and with Michael and your bio, I'm a recovering developer and builder, so new construction's in my blood. What are you seeing on the horizon for new construction? Because you just artfully said it. The only way that we can help with this is increase inventory. We all know the other side of the mountain's a little easier to develop, a little easier to build than on this side of the mountain.
Right.
What is your crystal ball showing about some new product coming on so these buyers have something to buy?
Well, all of our builders are extremely busy right now. They are at full capacity, and we're selling them faster than we can build them, which is a good thing. But the amount of property that we have to develop here that's been rezoned or approved has been slow to catch up with that. We do have some subdivisions that have been approved that builders have kind of just sat on, and I think right now is the time to go, and they are going as fast as they can, but we're a small area. We don't have the Stanley Martins. We don't have, that present in our community. We have builders that have been doing this for 50 years or more, and they're family builders, and they're going as fast as they can go.
So we had, and this I think is an interesting conversation to have. We had a conversation prior to today talking about the process. I don't want to get too geeked out on this, but the process on the other side of the mountain is very different than this side of the mountain. And we were having a conversation about a project that you were involved in that you just recently did on the rezoning on it. And I believe, if I remember the timeline right, it took you about a year to get it done, to go from rezoning and site plan. Is that correct?
Less than that.
Wow.
Yes, less than that.
So
we took it from the time we purchased it, I would say it was 6 months. It was zoned agricultural. It had been approved for a church. So they had gotten a special use permit, obviously. But it is in the, Augusta County is very protective of where they want development. When you are in that area that they want development, they will work hand over foot with you to get you in there, because that's what they want. They want development within certain areas. And that's one of the reasons why people live here, because we don't want development in Augusta County that encroaches on our our farmland and our, scenic views. They want it concentrated, and they've been very specific about where they want it, and they are open arms, ready for people to come in and do what they need to do.
Would you happen to know by any chance what the percentage of Augusta County is?
I don't think she knows that.
No.
Do you know the percentage of land? Yeah. So in Albemarle County, it's 5% and under, and that includes commercial and residential.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know the exact numbers. I just know that I was a part of what was called a Small Area Planning Commission about 7 years ago that dealt specifically with Fishersville. And that's where they want to encourage their infrastructure growth. That's where they want their housing, their high density housing to be. And people are protective over here of that. And that's one reason why people come here to live. It's easy to get around. The Target distribution center is a prime example of that. We welcome plants, but on 340, if you're headed down 340, we have this huge distribution center about 1.5 miles, if that, off of 340. You can't see it. You can't see the building from the road. And that's the kind of thing that I think makes it unique to live here. And I'm glad they're protective. But I think they also are seeing a need to kind of move on and open up things. And they're encouraging people to do developments where they want them in place.
Let's get Michael Plecker in the mix. Michael Plecker in the house still with a hot mic. I'm curious of anything that's come to mind in this conversation with Jody, myself, and Keith. The show is yours, Michael. What comes to mind so far that you've heard on this discussion in regards to Waynesboro? Okay, what do you think, Keith, right there?
Yeah, it's just...
I'm back.
Yeah.
He's back. So what excites me the most about it is that if you were able to put a project together under 6 months, and folks like Neil Williamson is watching, stuff that we've been talking about on this show for quite some time, is that the way to help us get through this inventory crunch is to create some inventory. And I can tell you, I work quite a bit on this side of the mountain, and it's not 6 months, it's 6 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To get something done. And the problem with that is the market changes very rapidly, as you well know.
Jody, I think you're going to have the best 5-year window of your real estate career ever.
I agree with that.
I think 2021 to 2026 is going to be the best 5 years of your business.
Well, it's already started.
Total agreement.
The numbers for this year to date, the median sales price jumped from $235 from $220 to $250. So that's
as long as Albemarle County keeps it difficult to build and create inventory. That means Waynesboro and the Shenandoah Valley are going to go gangbusters.
And it was probably unfair it was unfair to ask you that percentage question, but I wanted to tie it back to what Albemarle County does with this 5%, and I assume your area is much larger than that. That's the reason why the county is promoting growth in those particular areas on that. I will tell you, I'm actually going to be. Go ahead.
They are pro-growth. Just they're very particular about where they want their growth. And I think that is a good thing. That's a good combination to have.
So any reputable developer, all they want is the rules and follow the rules.
Who's the biggest developer you got over there? Is Ryan over there?
They are just recently. They came in, actually, Michael and I had a long conversation about this before Ryan Holmes came in. But right now, I would have to say it's probably W. Boutros and Company. They've been a developer of land for many, many years. I worked there probably the first 15 years of my career selling his products. So, locally, I would say Ryan Holmes is here. They do very well in an area where I didn't think they would. So, not to say that, I don't want to bash that. I'm just saying they did better than what I anticipated they would do. Our community has been kind of reluctant to let outsiders in at times previously, and I'm glad to see that that's changing somewhat. You guys do business very differently over there than we do here, and still that's the way that it is as far as new construction goes. It's kind of like a whole different animal there versus here. We find it kind of difficult to navigate the way you guys do things, and probably when you come over here you find it maybe a little difficult to navigate the way we do things.
I mean, and frankly, Jody, and I'm going to throw it to you, and Michael Plecker is going to jump in here. Let's talk new construction and the players you're seeing enter the market. I'll throw that to you in a matter of moments. Frankly, okay. Jody, we are we are jealous of the green tape that you guys have for bringing new inventory to the market. It just seems like the difference with your side to our side is we have more red tape, you have more green tape. We just have more options of bringing inventory to the market than you guys do, especially of the big builders.
So
you got it.
So
you got it right there. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, we just bring the inventory faster. We just can't do it because of government.
So for the sake of a talk show, to use your favorite,
you wouldn't have that here.
So what's the impact? I know, what's the schools look like? Because I don't really know that side of the market. Do they have growth in the schools? They handle this kind of growth. I think we've handled the transportation end of it, just between 64 and
the schools
81.
Are improving big time.
They are, yes. We've had additions to all of our major high schools within the last 10 years. Most all of our elementary schools. We have a lot of schools over here for our size. I don't know if you're aware of that, but we do. I find it odd that we have so many high schools here, but it is a good thing because it keeps our schools smaller, which people like. Our class sizes down. But yeah, all of our schools have been improved. We have one of the greatest hospitals that there is here. So we have the capacity to do what we need to do where we didn't maybe 15 years ago. But the green light's on, and I think that if you don't consider Augusta County a place to do business, you're probably missing a good opportunity.
Well said.
Well said.
What do you think, Michael Plecker? New development coming to the Augusta County. Anywhere you want to go?
Well, so Ryan Holmes has actually forayed into the Waynesboro market. And, of course, Ryan is a builder that I worked for in Northern Virginia for many years and know some of the folks that are even still involved with them. But they got their start with first-time buyers. That's how Ryan got their start. And I knew when they went there, Ryan doesn't go anywhere unless they've done their homework. So when you walk into a Ryan Holmes model as a first-time buyer in the Valley, they're going to have the type of product that they know that can be absorbed over there and sold, and they work with you on the payment. So it's their method of selling homes is successful, and again, their dirt guys know where to look to go buy the dirt.
What do you think, Jody?
I think he's right. I had some questions. Hauser Homes back a little while ago decided to come over this way, and of course, timing was a little off, but here, I got with Michael and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to work, or I had some trepidation about it, but they've done very well. Their timing was probably very good. They're supplying a product that's needed, affordable housing that has decent square footage. But they've done better than I thought they would do. I mean, I'll be honest with you. They've exceeded my expectations of what could happen over here. So,
So
I can't say anything negative about that.
What about Atlantic Builders? How are they doing on that side of the mountain? Because I believe they're there, aren't they not?
I think so. I'm not too terribly familiar. It has a couple of subdivisions going right now. Anna Maria Estates, which is W. Boutros and Company. Then you have Ryan, and then there's a subdivision called Silver Creek that is taken off pretty well, and it's on the larger side. They just sold off a huge chunk of land there. But those are like the main subdivisions in Waynesboro. So Waynesboro's kind of subdivisioned out, for lack of a better word. Most of the subdivision property that is there is taken. So I guess that is an indicator that things are going the way they should go. Sales in those neighborhoods have been really good. So, I would say that most builders that are building over here are doing extremely well right now.
Jody, are you seeing anyone from Augusta County, Waynesboro, choosing to move to Albemarle County and Charlottesville? If so, why?
No.
That was a quick
I
answer.
hate
That
to
was
say
a
that.
quick answer.
No, I don't have people ask me if I'd shown property in Charlottesville.
Wow.
I have lots of people that work there that ask me to show them property here. Or the reverse.
That's interesting.
That
Yeah.
tells a lot.
What do you attribute that to? The cost of living?
Yes, the cost of living. I'll go to Charlottesville, but to tell you quite frankly, I don't enjoy trying to get around over there. I like the amenities that you guys have. You have some stores and things that we don't have over here. But I have to plan what time of day to go because you don't want to be in this kind of traffic or that kind of traffic or during a ball game or, you don't have that here. Our road structures are laid out super, super great. Even if there was an increased volume in traffic, the way our roads are laid out, we handle it very well.
So that's what I was trying to get to. You've got the traffic scenario, because that's usually the big opposition to any development is typically
It's density of traffic.
traffic
Yes.
and schools.
Yeah.
And then other infrastructure. And I know enough about your water and sewer infrastructure that you guys got a ton of capacity there.
She's basically saying we got all that covered. How about the employment? We got some new employment coming down the pipeline?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, Amazon is, they just purchased our old Kmart building. And it's not their huge hub, but they're doing a hub there. What I anticipate happening is Amazon's going to get in this little location and they're going to think the same thing that everyone else does that comes here. Wow, this is a place to open something big. And I think they will do that just based on the ease of getting product from where we are, any way you want to go. So I'm anticipating their presence will be felt here in a much bigger way in the next 5 years. And then we have Hershey, Hollister, McKee. We have the Target Distribution Center, which is huge and employs a lot of folks. And a lot of times people overlook our area because of population, but what they don't understand is a lot of times we have a husband and a wife working at a McKee that are bringing in $60 an hour between them. And they live modestly. We have a ton of discretionary income over here. And for businesses not to consider us because of our population is also a big mistake. We have folks that live very well over here. They don't usually live above their means, but they like to have fun, they like to spend money, and they do it.
I think you
Well
need
said.
I think you need to go work for the Augusta County Economic Development Authority and
You
be
need
a
to be you
spokesperson.
need to be their evangelist or
I
something.
think you just
Yeah,
did that.
I can do that.
Nicely done, Jody.
Jody, thank you. I'm gonna hand you back over to my compatriot here. Thank
get
you.
her back.
Thank you. Exactly right. Thank you for coming on. We're going to
welcome.
kind of make this a regular segment on the show, looking on the other side, other side of the mountain, talking to experts who live in that side of the mountain, so we can get some good information over here. And actually, I've got the afternoon on Friday wandering around looking at property, so I'll connect with you and I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Jody, I sincerely mean this. You were awesome.
Hey,
Thank
class
you.
of 83
Thank you.
rocks.
Yeah, Michael says class of 83 rocks.
That's right, we do.
Hey,
Brown nosers and all.
hey, you have a good one, Jody.
You too, thank you.
All right. What do you think, Michael Plecker? Jump in here.
That's why she's been my friend for so many years. And quite honestly, when I have a question about the Valley, because I do live here in Pantops in Charlottesville, I've reconnected with a lot of folks over there, good people. But when I have a question about the Valley, a county question, a an area question about a house or anything real estate related, I call her. She knows the market well, and she's a straight shooter, and that's why she's successful there.
You know what excited me the most about today?
What's that?
This.
Oh my gosh, dude, wait till you see after the inspiration I got from doing this. We're going to shift this completely around. He's not going to like it, but we're going to have, see this desk
I'm pretty
right?
sure he don't like anything that we talk
this?
about.
Well, I mean, it's change.
We make him go
It's
through
change.
12 hours sitting
Yeah.
in the chair.
See that desk? How far do you think that desk is? I'd say that's 6 feet right there.
Oh my God, that desk itself is over 6 feet.
Okay, and then what we do is we put people on two sides.
I like it.
So it would be a parallel desk to this one
I like it.
with people on either side, and then the director on this side with a better view that's not blocked by the computer screen right now.
And everybody's-
Because we can't make eye contact with him.
And everybody's over 6 to 8 feet
Oh,
apart.
yeah. And then you legitimately could have 4 people,
Thank
and
you.
then I could Skype somebody in.
Thank you.
Have you think about that?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been begging for this roundtable
So
stuff.
it would be
We just did it.
1, 2, 3, 4 with the director to the side, and then someone Skyped in.
So we now got 5.
Yeah.
Now
well, you would have us two hot mics and a Skype.
But total of 5.
Yeah.
So now we can do our roundtable that we've been wanting to do.
I mean, you could do anything you want.
Now we can get 2 appraisers in and one live.
And then next thing we do it, say Michael's in here next time, we go Michael, Christopher. We stream to Michael's page and Christopher's page. We're not streaming to Michael's now. We should. Stream to Michael's page, Michael's business page, Christopher's personal, Christopher's business page, and then 15 other social media channels.
Sure.
Think about it.
Yeah,
It just expanded.
It's this is
It
one.
literally got a wider reach if we do that.
This is look, he's raising his hand.
Yes.
For us novices to the live stream world,
Yeah.
this
Uh-huh.
and that screen, I didn't know if I was on camera at times.
Oh, you were on camera the whole time.
I was on camera. Great.
So
So,
those-
I need to practice a little bit before I come back in. But
Yeah, you did great.
You did great. You had 7 firms watch the program. Candace Vanderlyn says, I loved the tennis at the Augusta Healthcare Facility. Great views, home prices, healthcare, shopping, golf, hiking, parks, tennis. It's blowing up in Augusta County. Neil Williamson is watching. He says, Augusta County residents do not oppose development in their designated growth areas. Hashtag more housing everywhere for everyone.
So here we go, Mr. Williamson. Since we've now just figured out how.
You got NBC 29 and the CVille Weekly watching.
Thank you, guys. We can now get Neil on one side and then somebody on the other. We can get Neil back in here and do this with this idea. I know, I'm trying. I'm trying.
The only the person who's been able to get Neil on the network, you know who?
Yeah, I know.
Who was it?
Was that Mr. Guthrie?
No.
No.
Female.
Female.
Barbara Lundgren.
Really?
Yeah, only one that's been able to
Really?
get Neil on the network. We love Neil.
Yeah. He always says something about he's got a face for radio, but I disagree with that.
He's got a brain for any medium.
I would love to have him sitting. I love this. Thank you. Thank you for doing
We'll
that. Thank you
start
for taking outstanding.
No
So,
pressure.
no pressure for me. Now I got to get guests for
Start
Friday.
Friday. Better make it happen.
I have
if
no-
we do this, you better damn do it.
Yeah, okay. Jeez almighty.
It'll be fun, though,
You've
right?
been rough on me
Don't
today.
you think it would be fun?
I don't want to talk to you.
Yes, it would. You know it would be fun.
I am giddy. This is. I want to get back to this.
What if we had like an appraiser and a lender?
I want to see a broadband guy come in.
What do you say?
I want a broadband guy to come in and talk about.
I heard a bald guy.
We could get Ting in here.
Okay.
You know, if you wanted to.
When we had Tony on.
Yeah.
Tony O'Brien on. You know.
S&M Communications.
But
is
the
a good one for that,
ability,
too.
the concept that you just came up, the ability to go back safely and COVID friendly.
Yeah. And
do that.
literally following the rules, we could ping pong the topics and then
Love it.
Skype somebody in.
I love it. And
It would be so dynamic.
And then you really forget about all these. Thank you.
And then this is
Made
how
me
we
a
would
happy
have to
man
chop
today.
up the screen, Judah. See how the screen right there is 3 people? We would almost have to do it like Brady Bunch squares.
Ooh.
You know, remember the Brady Bunch intro?
We have to change our entry tune for the song.
Who's going to be in the middle? Who's Alice?
Who's Alice? I don't know. Depends on the day. All right, Michael Plecker, get us out of here on this note. 2021, your prediction.
I'm looking forward to helping any and all buyers that come to the market as well as listings. If you're a buyer, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions up front and get you ready to go before we even go see the house. Because in this market, you really have to be ready to, if it's the one, you have to be ready before you walk out the door to say it's the one.
There you go.
Keith Smith. Dot the I's and cross the T's.
Jerry Miller, thank you. Thank you for coming
Our pleasure.
Thank you for coming up with that genius idea. I knew we were going to get there.
Our pleasure.
Mr. Plecker?
I'd like to think I was a little bit of the inspiration for that, but
You
I highly
absolutely
doubt
were.
it.
Yeah, whatever.
If Michael Plecker wasn't here, the idea wouldn't have come to mind.
Totally, it was all about Michael Plecker. Totally.
713 Knoll Street, now under contract.
There you go. I got to look at that and find exactly how many days before it went on the contract.
3.5.
Was it 3.5?
Yeah.
There you go.
I told Keith I have a listing coming up in the city within walking distance of the hospital that you're probably going to want to put on your show in amazement.
We will as soon as you get that listing activated.
Where's the listing? Can you give us some details?
I'm not at liberty to disclose that at this moment.
Okay, there's the smart answer right there from Michael Plecker.
Trained well.
Yeah, well done.
Mrs. Smith trained them well.
It's all that YRP training.
No,
and it ain't Keith. Yona, we love you.
It ain't me.
But I do love you too.
I love you too. Can we go now?
We do.
It's
We do.
11:22.
Keith Smith,
You
Yes
got a
Team
show to do.
Realtors. Keith Smith, Yes Team Realtors,
Thank you,
and
guys.
Yes Realty Partners.
Michael, thank you for coming in,
he
brother.
crushed it.
Hey,
Thank you.
Happy
You
to
crushed
do
it.
it.
You
Thanks
crushed
for
it.
having me.
You were
Yeah,
good.
no.
Hope I added something to the conversation.
So on Friday,
Yeah.
we're gonna have 2 guests and one calling in. Is that the game plan?
I mean, if you want to go balls to the wall on Friday, let's do it.
All right, got it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So let's do this. Anybody who's watching that wants to be on,
Candace Vanderlyn.
Candace is one.
Candace Vanderlyn, if you're still watching, you should come on.
Candace, call me.
Candace is legit.
Yeah, Candace, call me.
Oh my gosh, Candace is still watching. Candace. And Christopher says he loves the studio idea. Wink.
Is that Christopher Eagle?
Christopher Eagle should come.
But I think we need to bring an appraiser in, though.
Do whatever you
I
want.
just don't know if I'm going to be able to get that put together
right.
between now and Friday.
And now on Friday. That's the problem. You do whatever you want.
We'll get
Candace Vanderlyn.
We'll get Candace.
She's legit.
We'll maybe bring in Christopher Eagle if he's got time.
Yeah.
And we'll just try it out, see how it goes.
Candace just said yes.
Okay,
Of course.
that's Candace's one.
Candace. That's my Candace dance.
Is that your Candace
Yeah.
dance?
She's great.
You have a show to do.
I know. I'm having fun. Judah, let's move this equipment. Michael Plecker, A+, Keith Smith, Jerry
Thank
Miller,
you.
Real Talk.
Thank you
Yes
for keeping us
Realty
straight
Partners.
today. Great, this is exciting.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one. We'll see you at 12:30 with Michael Payne, Charlottesville City Councilor. Take care, guys.